Welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, proud host of the podcast here. Thank you for all of our live listeners and viewers right here, right now on the podcast. Proud member of the Education Podcast Network, Voicehead Radio Canada, iTunes, Facebook, wherever you are taking in the podcast. Thank you. Thanks for joining us and being part of the podcast. A quick word as we get started from our sponsor, IXL.
I'd like to thank IXL for sponsoring today's podcast. Over 1 million teachers use IXL in their classroom every day. IXL is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K through 12. It empowers schools with complete curriculum, thousands of instructional resources, robust reporting, assessment data, and more. It saves teachers a lot of valuable time with ready-made plans aligned to the standards and the textbooks. Built-in engagement tools like custom competitions make learning fun for students. And IXL's diagnostic is research proven to be a strong predictor of performance on standardized assessments. And the best part, everything I just mentioned is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your EdTech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead your students towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, appreciate IXL sponsoring today's podcast.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Let's get started. We are going to meet Kentucky's Kelly Odell here in just a moment. She is our guest today. She is a principal. She's an educator, and she is now the training and education leader at KASC, Kentucky Association of School Councils. Kelly and I have known each other a number of years through professional principal leadership circles, and proud and happy to have her on today. It's the day after the Super Bowl, friends. What is your Super Bowl? Yes, we all had the game on. Yes, we all ate too much. I went to bed after halftime. I can't stay up that late anymore. People say, well, Andrew, where do you get your energy? Well, at 9 o'clock is my bedtime. And the game was great, right? You know, whether you like the Eagles, the Chiefs, whatever. But what's the Super Bowl in your life? What's that thing you're working towards? What's that goal? What is that thing that you want to be a part of? Maybe it has nothing to do with education. Maybe it's a trip to Europe somewhere. Maybe it's something that you're planning on. Maybe it's a home extension. But what is that thing that you are working towards each and every day? Because those players didn't get to the Super Bowl just this season, right? They worked their whole lives there to get to that big stage, right? And everybody wants to be successful on the big stage, but those that are successful know it is certainly working behind the scenes to get there, right? Think of that picture of the iceberg, right? You see the big iceberg there. Well, there's a huge bottom to it and all that goes into it. So the same with us, the same with what we're working towards. Keep working towards your Super Bowl. Someday is not on your calendar. So put that thing on your calendar. Put those days and those work sessions on your calendar to make it happen. Speaking of the Super Bowl, well, here we go. We have a super guest today, my good friend from Kentucky on a snow day. Here she is, Kelly Odell. Kelly, welcome to Education, Leadership, Beyond.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, you got your Kentucky blue on there, you know.
I do. Wearing it proud.
Blue and red in that state, basketball for sure. This is Kelly Odell, friends, again, from the Kentucky Association of School Councils. Kelly, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're watching the show live, jump in. There's a number of people watching live. Jump in the chat, say hello. Maybe you're a colleague of Kelly or a former teacher with Kelly in Kentucky, so please say hello. Kelly, how you doing? This is your first year with KASC, and tell me about that transition from going from a building principal to now in a leadership organization in the great state of Kentucky.
You know, I think one of the biggest things that has been, I think, exciting has been getting to see the statewide view of public education. You know, when you're a principal, when you're a teacher, you're in your building, you just know what's going on right then and there. You hear what's going on in other places. But with this organization, I am able to be involved with schools across the state and just seeing what the initiatives that are going on, being able to support principals and school councils across the state has just been phenomenal.
And your colleague is watching here, Liz. She had
Yeah.
tremendous energy on our session together. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, Liz. Kelly, tell me about that decision. You were in the building. There was an opportunity with this group not too far from your home.
Yeah.
Did you wrestle with that? Was it something that you were looking to do to maybe, again, like you said, broaden your view and vision on things?
Yeah, so well, my friend Liz that's on right now, she is our associate executive director, and she and I both were school principals at the same time, but she came to work at KASC a few years back, and they ended up having a position come open, and she gave me a call and said, I think this is the right position for you. I'd love for you to come back and work with us. Would you think about interviewing? And it was something that it was really exciting because we've been talking about getting to work together again. Because when we worked together, she was the assistant principal and I was a teacher. And so getting to come back together and work together in this capacity. And, you know, as a principal, KASC was an organization that I heavily depended on as a principal. With our school councils, the way that we're set up in Kentucky, all of our policies and bylaws and things are decided through our council. We call them site-based or school-based decision-making councils. They're kind of like a school board in our own little school. So it's elected, teachers elect teacher representatives, parents elect parent representatives, and then the principal leads that council. And so that's a big job. You know, it's not, the principal has to make sure that they're leading that council effectively and making sure that the decisions that are being made are sound and everyone's opinions or voices are being heard and it's kind of moving in the direction that the school as a whole wants to move. And so with KASC, their support in that is just phenomenal. And so I already relied really heavily on this organization. And so when she asked me to come and be a part of it, it was an easy yes. I would love to. Yes, I'm interested in that. So.
Yeah, it's not like it was some crazy outside organization you didn't know much about. It was a close connection there for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Kelly, as educators, we learn different skills. We keep growing. I wrote a blog recently called My Whole Life as Our Skills Compound, right? And as we get older, right, we think things may become easier to us, but they're not easy. We learn the hard way. What are some of those skills? What are some of those strategies and techniques that you took as a building leader or you learned as a building leader that you're using now in this new leadership role?
So one of the big things that I really brought with me is understanding the capacity of being a school leader and understanding that there's so much that goes into that. But the biggest thing I think is recognizing that there are so many different needs in the building and how you are able to meet those needs, not only of the students, but also of your staff, your teachers, your custodians, even the cafeteria workers, things like that. You've got to make sure that you're understanding all of the needs. And so one of the things that we do here at KASC is we are supporting those needs. We are able to work with individual principals. They call us and say, we're needing this in our school. Can you help us? And we're able to design specific things that help them in their path in their school and kind of differentiate just like you would do in a classroom, And so learning how to do that as a school principal, because, as a teacher, you learn how to do that with your students, but you don't think about it with adults. But as a principal, that was something that I learned is that you do have to differentiate for the adults as well. And so understanding that and being able to support school principals now in that endeavor as they lead, it's exciting and it's powerful.
Cool. Awesome. It does sound like you're certainly thriving there. Again, if you're watching live, please jump in and say hello to Kelly. Maybe throw a question in there if you'd like. Kelly, we chatted off air for a moment, right? I lived 20 plus years as a principal. The work comes to you. You could barely catch your breath. You could barely use the bathroom. You're in a different role now where you're getting to design the work. A lot of autonomy in the direction you want to take it. You have a little time to kind of think through that. Tell me
Mhm.
that adjustment about, the autonomy of the work and making decisions where a kid isn't breathing down your neck or holding onto your leg, you're tying shoes, wiping noses. Tell me about working where you have maybe a little bit more time to breathe. What's that like for you?
So actually, one of the things that I missed the most was that drive, that everybody like having problems and getting and wanting me to solve, needing me to help solve them. That was one of my favorite things being a school principal, is getting to help other people. And so without having that constant, I need this, or can you do this, or we need this, it was interesting to really recognize that, okay, I can stop for a minute, I can breathe, I can listen, I can pay attention to what's going on. We have our Department of Education will broadcast all of the meetings with our commissioner, our the superintendent's advisory council, principals advisory council. We have a United We Learn council that's driving our new accountability and assessment system. And so they broadcast all of those meetings. So getting to actually have a time to sit and watch those meetings and take in all that information, being able to read the law a little bit better and going, oh, I
Mm,
wish I'd known that. I wish I'd known that when I was a principal. And things like that. It's been so nice to just dig deeper into the profession, deeper into education, and really understand how it needs to move across the state, and kind of how it needs to infiltrate in every building.
yeah. And one of those things that you are moving across the state is an initiative that you're working on with KASC, the
Yes.
Vibrant Leader, Kentucky's Vibrant Leader, the
Yes.
energy that we need in schools. Talk to me
Yes.
about this initiative and the work you're
Yeah.
doing with it through KASC.
Absolutely. So, we have a Kentucky United We Learn Council. I just mentioned that. And this work started a few years back. And they started looking at our accountability system and deciding if what we are asking our students to do is really what's best for our students, especially after COVID, the absolute negative effects that it had on teachers and students. And so we started moving towards this vibrant learning initiative in the state. And what the new commissioner has really taken off with this. And so we're trying to get this system of where we're having these vibrant learning experiences happening in every classroom in Kentucky. And that just looks like, maybe it's a project based learning, or it's a capstone, or it's a defensive learning, or something like that, where the students actually are invested in what they're doing. And so, as what we do at KASC is, we have council members that are elected every year to every school's, little council, and those members have to receive a certain amount of training every single year. So if you're an experienced council member, you only have to have 3 hours. But if you're a new council member, you have to have 6 hours of training to be able to serve on the council. And so we provide that training. That's one of the things that we do, is we provide that training. And so last year, when this vibrant learning discussion started happening, I was not with KASC at the time, but our brilliant director and associate executive director started working on, well, what does that look like, and how can we prepare our council members and principals for this new vibrant learning discussion that's taking place. And so what they did was they looked at, okay, let's look at deeper learning. Let's look at project-based learning. Let's look at capstones. Let's look at inquiry-based learning. What do all of these initiatives have in common? And so they came up with a foundation of what vibrant learning would look like just in the classroom. And they base it on three things: thinking, meaning, and ownership. So you have to have thinking, you have to understand and be able to apply the concepts that are being taught. But you bring meaning to it, meaning the kids feel a connection to it. There's relevance to it. It's real life. It's a part of their culture. It's a part of their everyday, living. And then that ownership, which is that student choice, student voice, that leadership. So what we do is we are providing that training for our councils to help. We really want teachers and principals and council members to understand that this is not something new that the state is asking. This is just bringing what you're already doing in the classroom, just bringing it to life, making it more vibrant, bringing more meaning and engagement to your students, and to help them really get back the love of learning willing to help teachers get back the love of learning, because we lost a lot during COVID, and so this is just, so that's the movement that we're heading in with the state. And so we are just following along with them and trying to help make sure that we're pushing that, the support of that initiative, and helping teachers really understand all the components of it.
Yeah. And I love what you said. It's not something else you have to do. We hear state mandate all the time, right? It's not
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
Maybe just doing it in a little bit of a different manner,
Mhm.
providing those amazing experiences for kids.
Yes.
What's it like for you
Yeah.
then to go in and see those vibrant experiences? I mean, it must be great.
I cannot tell you how exciting it is, because this was something, as a teacher, I had a class back when I was a second grade teacher in Tennessee that I was ready to quit by Christmas. Like, it was one of those where I was like, I've had it. I can't do this anymore. As a young teacher, you get to hit that point. And I discovered inquiry-based learning, and that was something that I initiated. I took on, changed my classroom, changed the lives of my students. The parents were calling me, "What are you doing in that classroom?" They won't stop asking questions. What's going on? So it's something that I was already passionate about. So coming in and seeing the work that's been done here, and recognizing that this is the work that we can get this in every school, it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's so exciting to watch these things happening. And the commissioner has been holding town hall meetings across the state at our co-ops, our education co-ops, to kind of hear what the public is thinking about this, moving into this new accountability system that he's wanting us to move into, which is a lot of local accountability. So it's involving parents, it's involving community members, involving the teachers, the districts, providing what the expectations are for a lot of what we do in our schools, kind of outside of reading and math. And so getting to listen at those town hall meetings, it's different regions of the state. Every region has something different they bring to it. And just listening to the things that they're concerned about, the things they're excited about. I mean, it's eye-opening, and it's so inspirational and encouraging to know that our passion is coming back. The passion that we have gotten so frustrated and overworked and overwhelmed, and just seeing this life come back to Kentucky schools is just, it's very, very exciting.
I love it. I love it. And as a
Yeah.
school leader, to see it, I was in the classroom this week. The teacher did a gallery walk. The kids
Yeah.
read a book. They got to create a project. Then the
Yeah.
kids had to leave them comments and feedback. And it was just
It's phenomenal, right?
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I wish I'd had that when I was a kid, like that's so much fun.
Well, now you're getting to provide that for educators.
Mm.
Rhonda Harmon likes it. She's jumping in with a
Yep.
comment here.
Yep.
Kelly, you're a busy school leader, but you're also a busy mom. You have
Yeah.
a big family. You have a 20-year-old who's married, a 16, 12, and 12, as well as
Yeah.
being married 25 years. That's
Yeah.
a lot of balance. I got my balance bird.
Yeah.
Talk to me about balance and harmony in your life, your personal life, your work life. How do you balance it all as a busy mom, leading in education while
Yeah.
managing your home with love and care and activities and events and all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, driver's license help a lot. We get driver's licenses as soon as we can, so everybody can start getting getting themselves where they need to go. No, we really focus on. We always have family dinners. We always make sure we sit around the table and we talk to each other when we can. If we don't have a million different events going on at night, we really cherish that constant communication. I got to be here, she's got to be there, and just checking in. Are you doing okay? Have you had a good day? Just that constant communication. And the good old Google Calendar is my friend. Everything goes in that Google Calendar to help me kind of make sure I understand kind of what's going on. But one of the things when I became a principal, and as a teacher, you can get very overwhelmed with all the things that you really want to make sure your students accomplish, and you give, you provide for your students. But in school as a teacher, my kids were always with me, so it was kind of a nice thing, because they would just come to my room after school was out, and we were always together. As a principal, it was different, because as a principal, I had to step out of that role and kind of be separated a little bit more, because there were so many more people that were needed. You go from a class of 25 kids to a class, to a school of 700 people, 600 students, 100 faculty and staff. You've got a lot of people that are depending on you. And one of the best pieces of advice I was given, when it came to that balance, that work-life balance, was be where your feet are. You know, and make sure. And I noticed in one of your, I think it was one of your Monday messages, one of your, I can't remember, something you wrote was talking about something was talking about not emailing when we're not in school, right? Like making, like you're protecting your teacher's time.
Schedule your emails.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what So one of the things that I always made sure to do was, you know, if I want to be where my feet are, I want everyone else to be where their feet are as well. And I don't want to, you know, get in on that. I don't want to impress them, you know, make stress for them or cause them to have to think about something and take away from their family. So that was just a practice I always had, was just be where your feet are and be thankful when you're there. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Beautifully said. So you're at work now. The kids are home on a snow day. They taking care of dinner tonight? Dad got dinner? What's happening?
Yeah, Dad does dinner. He's got the dinner part. Yeah, he's our cook. He's our chef. So that's good.
He's the chef?
Most nights. Wow. Yeah. It's nice. I like to cook. I like to cook, yeah, but he does it. He lets me have fun on the holidays and stuff. But yeah, as a matter of fact, he was helping bring kids to soccer practice and stuff tonight. So yeah, we just we work it out. You know, we have a good system in place. So.
Do you consult on that? Do you get a vote, or is it this is the menu and you know that's it?
Actually, I do the grocery shopping.
Okay.
So I get to pick the food that's in the house, and then he takes that food and cooks with it. So it's a win-win. So
25 years of marriage, they figured it out. Good.
Yeah, finally.
It's not easy there. Again, a bunch of teenagers. We have the drivers now. The drivers help, but the car insurance, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. We were talking just last week, like, we got to do something. This is bad. Like, somebody's got to get a job. Something's got to happen. So
something's got to happen here. Wow. They're vibrant learning in school. They're being engaged, feeling good. So good for you.
Yeah.
I loved, again, what you said about protecting people's time there and certainly be where your feet are. So I'm glad you read the blog. Thanks for the show.
I am.
Cool. Well, Kelly, you know, your big family, there are a couple people missing. You did suffer a terrible tragedy, losing your 3-year-old daughter, Karen, and your in-laws in 2017. I can't imagine that. My heart goes out to you. Talk to me about working through that with your husband, working through that tragedy, to be the strong leader, to be this vibrant leader that you are. I give you credit there for doing it. Talk to me about working through that awful tragedy.
So it happened at the very end. I was teaching. I was a teacher, so it happened the very last week of school. And so I had my third child was also in the car. She was the only survivor. And she, I won't get into a whole lot of story. I could talk for days on this. But she ended up having her spine broken in 3 different places. Wow. And her skull was knocked out of its cradle, like where it touches the spine. So we were in the hospital with her for several weeks. She was in recovery in a brace for several months and made a full recovery. She's my 12-year-old soccer player. Yeah, she's phenomenal.
That's Phoebe. This is Phoebe.
That's Phoebe. This is Phoebe. Yeah. And so I was at school when it's really amazing. There's just so many amazing things that I could tell you about how just divine intervention was just right there. God was right there kind of with us through the whole thing. But on our way to the hospital, I had to get to my husband, and then we got in the car to get to the hospital to get to Phoebe. And he said, this is not going to break our family apart. Like that was, he said, I am promising you, this will not break us apart. So having that foundation right there, my husband lost more than anyone. He lost his parents and he lost his daughter. And so just having that firm foundation right there before we even got to the hospital, it just kind of helped. And then the support system.
He said that in the car to you.
He said that in the car on the way to the hospital to get Phoebe. Yeah. To see Phoebe. Yeah. And so with that, I've been a Christian my whole life, but the support and the faith building that came with the whole it was just it's so much to just even talk about. But I've been thinking about, okay, if we talk about this, what story do I want to tell? So I picked one story so it wouldn't be like too long. So when we had a huge support system, had people all over the world praying for Phoebe, praying for us, and we got a lot of gifts, a lot of gifts. They just kind of kept pouring in and pouring in. And it was not something at the time that I could manage. Like I couldn't look at it. I couldn't manage it. And so it ended up somehow getting all put in a corner in my bedroom. And I just didn't even touch it. It was just there. So about 6 months after the accident, the fog kind of started to lift and my mind kind of started to clear out a little bit. And I realized, okay, that's sitting there. I need to see who all gave us things. I need to process this. And in those gifts, I found a journal that one of my mom's sisters had made for me. And she had gotten all of my aunts and my cousins and my uncles to my grandparents to give her a Bible verse. And so she wrote a separate Bible verse on each day in that journal, just something for me to have to kind of go through. So I thought, okay, well, this is a call to me to kind of get in the scripture. And I've, like I said, I've been a Christian. I would get my little daily emails, my little devotionals and things like that. Never really sunk into me, like really in the word. And I thought, well, I'm going to open this up and whatever the verse is, I'm just going to read the chapter and kind of try to get an understanding of it. Well, it led me on this journey of just this incredible relationship with God. And he built my faith like I could never have imagined. And so when you ask how I'm here today, that is full credit, giving God all the glory, because there is no way I could have done this without him just walking beside me, holding me up when I could not lift my head, when I became to the point where my husband was actually really worried about me. In that second year, it got really bad. And my husband really he had to take extra care of me, to get me through it. And, all of that was just that I can't deny it. Like, that's where it is. And so now I know where my strength comes from. I know where my love comes from. I know where it comes from and I know who I am. And so that's kind of why I'm able to be the person I am right now. So even through all the ups and downs, it still comes and goes. I'm not, there's still moments where it's tough, but I know who gets me through it. So.
Well, thank you for speaking about that, Kelly, and thank you for sharing that. And you and your husband are an inspiration. Life is fragile, and you've lived through that. And clearly, it's made you a stronger and just a person. So, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me share it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you some more, Kelly. It's hard. Education is constantly growing and changing and more. How do you go about? I want to learn this new skill, or hey, there's a new reading program. I want to get familiar with this. I want to get better. How do you continue to grow and learn on the job in education here in 2025?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I'm paying attention to, all of these, especially the initiatives that are coming down from the Department of Education and things like that. But just the research, just making sure that I am, if I hear a term that I'm not familiar with, if I see that something is coming that I didn't experience because it's in the past, I'm not in the schools anymore. It is just, you jump on it, you get in there, you find out more about it. You have to research. And that's something that sometimes as a principal, as a teacher, you don't have the time to really research it. But honestly, I did it as a principal too. If something was coming around the bend and I heard it coming, I was on top of it. I would jump ahead and try to make sure that I understood it so that I could bring it to our school and make sure that I understood it fully before asking others to start to even try to understand it. And that's kind of where we are, with the vibrant learning and with the initiatives that we have here. Is just making sure we understand. That's one of the reasons why we went to all the town hall meetings for the commissioner, was we want to make sure we know what's coming. Yeah. And we understand what they want, so that when we speak to others and we support others, we're speaking the same language, and because I feel like that unity is what's so important in schools. Everyone needs to be speaking the same language. Everyone needs to have that same understanding. And if you don't, then you need to fill in those gaps, just like you do with your kids,
Yeah.
with your students.
And are you a reader? Are you watching YouTube videos? Like how do you consume content?
I do. So for work related, professional related things, I'm a lot more of podcasts. I do a lot of I will watch things on YouTube videos, just things like if I can find it, that's how I consume it. I do some Audible. I will listen to Audible. I'll have it playing and I'll be taking notes. I'll type out notes as I'm listening to things. But that's the way I do it. Is I take it in audibly and then I will take notes as I'm listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good
Yeah.
for you. Always
Yeah.
looking to learn and grow. It's important that we do that. I
Mhm.
again the blogs. I love writing. Right. I like to process
Yeah.
and I write it. I saw a stat during the Summer Olympics that Carl Lewis would have come in last, and he
That's
won the gold
crazy.
medal.
I saw
The U.S.
that.
sprinter. He would have come in last with his time. And that's how, we just keep advancing and growing. We got to continue to get
Yes.
better and better. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't stop. You have to keep growing.
Kelly, back to your family. You're an educator. How do you have those conversations with your own children, navigating through their school? Mom, I hate school. Mom, I don't want to do it. Mom, the teacher's boring. We hear it from our own children. How do you navigate those conversations? Being on the administrator side.
It's hard because you don't have any control over that. There's nothing I can do to change the way those teachers are affecting my children, but I do want my children to see me talking about it. I want them to see me. I was privileged to be principal for Phoebe and Brennan, my two younger ones. They
Wow.
were in my school when I was principal, and I got to teach my two older ones, Jesse and Leah. I got to teach both of them as a teacher. And so they know who I am as an educator. So they know that they can come to me if they need something or if they're struggling with something, and I'll be an empathetic ear, but I still encourage them because it's still something where, you're not always going to like your job. You're not always going to like going and having to work out or having to, do this or do that or pay that bill. Like there are going to be things in life that you're not going to like. And with the trauma that we have been through as a family, we have learned how to overcome and how to get through the muddled mess of life. And so it's just important for us to keep that communication open and just help them know, I understand, I'm so sorry, let's look at this together. High school, I'm an elementary education teacher, so I'm not that great with the high school stuff. Even middle school, my daughter is like, I don't know how to do this math. I'm like, honey, I would tell you, but I'm going to tell you wrong. So I'm not going to tell you how to do this. But I also coach them on how to talk to their teachers because
Yes.
I do feel like it's important for them to advocate for themselves.
Yes.
And so they don't. I'm very particular about getting in the middle of it because I think if mom comes in and tries to save the day, they don't get to learn from that.
Mhm.
And so, but I am there to coach them and help them advocate for themselves as they're trying to get through the struggle that they're in. So
Well said there, Principal
yeah.
Odell. One of the things I hear my kids talk about is using IXL. They use it a lot.
Oh,
Kelly, as you saw, they sponsor our show here.
yes.
In your experience using IXL as a school administrator when you were principal?
Mhm. Yeah, so we loved it. It was one of those programs that we used a lot. We always had it as a way for students to either to fill in those gaps. There are some learning gaps there, and it's a great way to get in there and help students be able to practice those things that maybe they missed along the way. It's also a great way to advance learners when they've already met grade level and they're ready to advance, but maybe the whole class can't go with them. It's a great way to give them that experience and going beyond the grade level that they're in.
Yeah. And I love the instant feedback. The kids live
Yeah.
in it. They want to buy it, it's on their hand. They want to see it, it's on their hand. It's right
Yes.
there. They live in an instant world.
Yeah.
We grew up, we had to wait a week for the teacher to grade the paper.
Yeah.
IXL is instant, and it gives them that
Yeah.
instant feedback. So I think that was
Absolutely.
yeah. Cool.
Mhm.
Kelly, what's something I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about?
I think we got to everything. I think that there's a lot here, but I'm looking at my glancing over some notes, but I think that we got everything. It was pretty good.
Cool.
Oh, I will tell you. You did ask me, and we haven't talked about this, but you mentioned that we might mention advice I would give to new educators, new school leaders coming in, because this is a new world that we are in right now. You know, have a teacher shortage. Our student behavior is off tracks in a lot of places, and we're struggling with how to help our students and their own personal issues as well as their academic needs. And one of the things and I know you are a huge proponent of this, but building those positive relationships with every single person you work with, and finding that value in every single person, and recognizing another piece of amazing advice that I had when I became a principal was watch your face, because everybody else is watching your face and you are the tone of the whole school. And so and that stuck with me. And there was, and with the rest of the school where my office was, I had to come through our main office to get to my office. That was always my filtering ground. I always I knew in my office was my safe space. If I needed to break down, if I needed to have a tough conversation, if I needed to really hash through something, that was where I did it. But when it was time for me to go out in that building, I had a filtering ground where I was like, okay, I'm going out and I'm being with my people. I need to make sure that what I am portraying is that I love you and I support you and I'm here for you. And so I was always something I was very conscientious about. I'm sure I failed a few times, but I really worked hard at making sure that I was there for them, and that my personal whatever I was dealing with I did not push it on them. And that was a huge help for me. And I wanted to mention that too. I think that was amazing advice, and I would give it to anyone.
Yeah, I'm going to change my slide in my presentation about body language now to watch your face.
Watch your face.
Yeah. I mean, 55% of communication is body language. Only 8% is the words, and 55% is body language. So that's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is fun, Kelly. I got some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Quick questions. Mr. Odell's got dinner, so we're going to get you out of here on time. Okay. Are you ready? Rapid fire.
I'm going to try. Yeah.
Here we go, friends. Here we go. Last book you read?
Third Harry Potter.
Oh, you're a Harry Potter person.
Huge. And my daughter's reading them now, so I'm trying to read them again with her.
I did a presentation yesterday. My Harry Potter wand is in the car.
I love it.
Last movie you saw?
You're Cordially Invited. The Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon. Loved it.
We were dying laughing.
Yes, we were too. It was great. It was so funny.
There was some foul language in there.
Yeah. But the romance, it was so cute. I loved it.
It was very funny. We watched it this weekend. Last concert you went to?
We the Kingdom. Best concert I've been to in a long time. So love them.
Favorite dish?
Sushi.
Does your husband make sushi?
Actually, he bought my daughters a sushi kit for Christmas. And they have been making sushi since Christmas, and it's wonderful. It's fun. They love it.
Wow. Your favorite place to travel?
Anywhere in Europe. I got to spend a semester abroad and loved it. And I got to go to every country, and it was just phenomenal. So I would go back there in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Have you gone with your husband?
No, not yet. We talk about it, but we haven't been yet.
Kelly, someday's not on the calendar.
I know. I heard you say that. I know.
Someday's not on the calendar. Put it on the calendar.
I will.
The kids can take care of themselves. They got it. KASC is fill in the blank.
Valuable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Check out the website. Great resources on there. The website is well done as well. In 2025, I will fill in the blank.
Live in the present.
Again, be where your feet are. In 2025, I will stop.
Trying to control what I can't.
Good advice there. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
No surprise. It would be super speed. I need it to keep up with everything. So.
I like it. I like it. If you were not in education, what field would you be in?
Probably an event planner. I love putting together parties and performances and things like that. I just love it. I thrive in it.
Yeah, you enjoyed that as principal then too.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
That was one of the favorite things. Absolutely. I had instituted a club day every month. The most intricately like difficult thing I've ever put together, and it was the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Like I absolutely loved it. Loved it.
Even the day you had me to your school, the way you had everyone set up, I was like, wow, she's really good.
I'm on it.
This is through the computer. I could tell she was sharp. That was good. What's it? We talked about a lot of your passions, Kelly. What's a pet peeve of yours?
Well, if you can't tell, I'm very a passionate person. So a pet peeve of mine is apathy. I don't like it when people just don't care and don't see a need to care about what they're doing. It's hard for me to watch that.
Yeah, and that's a yin and yang to what you're talking about with the vibrant leader.
Yeah.
The vibrant leader creates these situations for kids to, oh, I don't like school. It gets them into it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a race
Yes.
that apathy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
At 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, what are you doing in the Saturday morning?
This Saturday, I'm going to be preparing for our women's retreat for church. We have a women's retreat, so I'm going to be getting ready and I'm organizing that. Shockingly, so getting there and getting that ready for everybody.
Something about Kelly Odell that people do not know about.
That's a hard one. I'm kind of an open book, so it's hard. The things that they don't know, I don't really want to tell.
Don't worry, there's only 2,500 people from Kentucky watching.
I'm okay.
She's taking a pass. Kelly, how about a quote for us? You have a quote to end the show?
Yes, and it's something we've kind of mentioned off and on throughout this discussion, but it's Maya Angelou, and it's do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, do better. That's just I've always been a grower. I've always been someone that wants to get better at everything I do, and that just when I heard her say that just really resonated with me. So I love it.
Beautifully said. And you're doing that now on a wider scale, a bigger lens, helping statewide through her job there at KASC. This is Kelly Odell, friends. Kelly, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Andrew. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got positive energy. Talking about watching your face, right? When I present, I could tell, I could see people. And I remember the first time we met, you were nodding, you were smiling, you know, and I could see. I said the message is resonating with this young lady.
Yes,
and here we are.
Yep. Just watch that face. Yep.
Good advice. Kelly Odell, friends, check out the website KASC. They're doing great things. Their programming right now is called the Vibrant Leader or Vibrant Education there. So, Kelly, good luck with that initiative, and certainly with Liz and your team there at KASC.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
All right, we're going to continue to survive and thrive, friends. Kelly, stay on the line a second. We are going to sign off here. Thank you for our live viewing audience, and certainly jump in the chat and leave Kelly a positive comment. You did a great job today, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Keep surviving and thriving, friends. Thank you so much.